Hi everyone, an update on my goal journal. So this is my reading journal. I started it in 2024. It's carried over into 2025. It's getting pretty chunky at this point, but I still have about halfway to go, I think, in this. Yeah, it's a little less than halfway to go in this. And I have every reason to think that I will finish this in 2025. I will do a little reminder of what the goals and challenges are that I am tracking in here, as well as my pages, but this is just the standard shelf of what I've read so far. This year, I realized last year that I'm just not that into coloring it in, and so I'm just not doing that. This year, I'm just listing the titles as I read them. This is my year at a glance, and so I'm just recording the dates that I finish books on here so that I can have the year on 2 pages and just be able to look at it and ponder it. My spicy brain wants to try to draw correlations. There probably are not any, but I just always think it's interesting when, oh, I finished a book on the 12th of the month, 2 months in a row. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. My time is not divided in such a way that I could say, oh, the 11th and the 12th are light days for me, so I should always try to finish a book. That is just not the way my life works. The other thing that always annoys me is that the moment in time when I was doing this, I had decided to use these stickers, these rose gold ones that actually came with this book. And for some reason, I'd already used April and August. And so I just wrote them in and was thinking that I would go back and just pull 2 April and August stickers from someplace else. But then because they don't exactly match, I'm like, that's no better than what I've got. So I should just go back and redo all of the month stickers, but I just haven't done it. And yes, I do have a broken nail. Actually, 2, but I haven't felt in the mood to go get them done. So there's that. Then I have these 2 pages where I'm really tracking my challenges somewhat. I need to create a page for one of my challenges, but anyway, I'll talk about that in a second, getting ahead of myself. So this was my bingo, for lack of a better term, and I did want to color this one to depict the months that I finished things, but I guess I just haven't felt very much in a coloring mood, so I actually have just written in the titles. I'm doing pretty well here. I'm just organically, not actually selecting something from each of these categories. Just as I'm reading, things are happening to complete these, which I like to do. And I took it too far last year. I waited until December to think about, oh, what do I have left? And I needed 5 squares still completed last December, and then I pulled 5 books that would meet those things, and then I never read them. So those 5 were actually squares that carried over into this year, and I finished Canada and Locked Room right away. And then the others that were carried over from last year, I have not finished yet. So now I've read something set in the 1920s. I've read a classic, which is kind of a cop-out. I just read the fairy tale The Snow Queen in advance of reading the T. Kingfisher retelling of that story, The Raven and the Reindeer. So I jotted that down as my classic. A teacher, something set in the Victorian era. A ghost story. This might be a cop-out too. If you've read Bury Your Gaze by Chuck Tingle, he is a screenwriter and he's written a ghost character, and that character comes to life basically. I'm counting it as a ghost story. I'm not really sure if everybody would agree. Mountains and Forests, definitely A Killing Cold. Dark Academia, a fantasy, Curious Tides, and a treasure hunt, another fantasy, A Dark and Drowning Tide. So this is going well. I'm pleased with where I'm at with my bingo this year. We're at the beginning of April, and so I think that's looking great. My A to Z challenge, I think, is looking outstanding. And I'm doing it based upon author's last name, not book titles. I don't know if that will be easier when we get to this section, which is always problematic, but we shall see. I have 12 letters left to go, so more than halfway there. And then the rest are just my individual journaling pages when I am done reading something. So the page that I do need to create, I have my top shelf challenge, clear shelf of oldest books in bedroom, and I really should create a page for that challenge. And so maybe I'll do that today. Maybe I'll take this and I'll write all the books that were on the shelf originally, and then use this page if I have to change something out. If you're unfamiliar, if you haven't watched that video of mine, I started just shelving books when I buy them, so they're sort of chronologically by how old they are, versus other places in my house where I have books alphabetically by author, as you would traditionally do. And I realized that that oldest shelf is honestly older than when I moved into this house, which was 5 years ago. So I started shelving books that way in the house that I lived in previous to this one in 2017. So we're talking, those books are already 8 years old. So I decided this is the year before they turn 10 years old to get those books off my shelf. And there just happened to be 52 books on that shelf. So if I had started the first week of the year, it would have been one a week. I already was 3 weeks into the year when I decided to do this. And now January, February, and March, I only finished one book off of that shelf. So I've only finished 3 technically. And then there are some rules, of course, because it's a challenge. And so I have to read books in series order. And so if a book is further along in a series than where I'm at, I can switch places if I own the book with the previous book in the series, sort of take it out and exchange it for the one where I'm at in the series. That's working well. But I just want to be able to note that, like, here was the original list, and then here's what I'm changing it out to. The complexity of that was hit in March when I pulled a book off of the shelf and realized that I did not have the prior book in the series. And so, in keeping with trying to read what I have as part of this challenge, I did not want to go buy the first book in the series, and so I borrowed it from the library. So I have to make a note of that as well. But then I decided, since borrowing a book from the library, or even buying a book if I can't get it from the library, because honestly that could happen here because our library system is challenged, that does not decrease the books on the top shelf. I mean, I guess I could technically buy the book and then pull the old book off and just put it in the newest location on my shelves, but that seems kind of a cop-out. So I feel like I have to read both books. Let's hope that I'm not like 7 books behind in a series, because that would be horrifying. So I think I'll work on that today, and then maybe pop back in and show you what it looks like, and then just finish this one up. Not very engrossing, but it's where I am today.